Red Spider from Baditude Rock and Roll. I'm here today with Stephen Campbell, bass player, frontman for the band Avalanche. How great are they? How are you, mate?
How you doing?
How are you? Yeah. Look, this band has been around. I've seen this band a couple of years ago now. I did a gig down at Wollongong and we were on the same bill. And it was one of those moments, you know, where the bands are playing and you're out the back and things like that. And then I heard this band, you know, and I got out and I was just in amazement. The energy and the rawness of their music and especially like how you were just presenting on stage was brilliant. It was just incredible. I've been a fan ever since, you know. I walked out of there going, oh mate, just great. And I just watched you grow.
Yeah.
So where did it all begin, Steve?
Well, it started with Veronica and Ryan. They were in high school. Well, they weren't technically in high school together because Veronica was in an all-girls school, but she knew his sister pretty well. She's friends with his sister. When they were sort of starting to be friends, they sort of met each other and she found out Ryan was a drummer.
Yeah.
And they both loved AC/DC, so they would go and play AC/DC covers together, and they did that for about 3-4 years together.
Yeah.
Just playing AC/DC covers. And then after high school, they eventually wanted to branch out and get some more band members in and get the whole band together.
Yeah.
So they messaged a few people, they messaged me. I came in originally just as a singer. We had another bass player and he didn't end up quite working out, so eventually, because I played guitar for about 13 years prior to that, so I was like, well, I can play bass, so I picked up the bass after that.
That's how all bass players start.
Yeah, that is how most bass players, especially in rock, start.
Yeah.
But no, I love the bass now. I'd never turn back. Like I loved playing guitar. It was definitely one of my favourite things to do. I even at one point thought I was just going to be a guitarist.
Yeah.
But once I started playing the bass and started really like learning about that, and not only that, but playing and singing that as well, I found a very, very good relationship between them two. Because it's very a lot of rhythm and a lot of. It's hard. It's very hard to do, but also when you get it together, it's just. It's good. It's real. I really like it.
And you can see where where obviously that's where your influences come from with those early cover bands you were doing, and obviously and I really appreciate you inviting me into your house too. It's great. But I was just admiring this wall, these posters. I just love the old school posters and that. And that's where your influence was. And look, and there's a lot of people out there that would say, you know, you'd be AC/DC influence. Look. My thoughts on it is that it's very Australian. You know, we've been compared before, you know, Rose Tattoo and AC/DC. It's an Australian sound, and it's raw and it's energy and it's Marshalls, it's Gibson guitars and all that. But what you do is great. And it's good to hear about it. So with your singles, what we're just discussing that before. What do you think was your first single? Would it have been Secondhand Band?
Yeah, so we did an EP originally when we were sort of in the first or second year of the band, and that was called Sent From Hell.
Sent From Hell.
I mean, it is a pretty good release, but it didn't actually have Arthur on it. It was just me, Veronica, and Ryan at the time. So Veronica did both rhythm guitar and lead guitars on that. So there is a little bit of a difference there, and you can definitely tell we were very young and very raw, very. It was a low budget sort of release as well, sort of home studio sort of setup.
It's a good sound. I was into it this morning.
It was a good experience. It was definitely something we needed to learn.
Yeah.
And I feel if we hadn't done that, we never would have been able to go in with Arthur the next time to do Secondhand Band anywhere near as good as we would have done.
So the current lineup is obviously Ryan on drums, Arthur on guitar, you on bass, singing, and Veronica and
So after they got me in the band, it actually took us like 2 years, or not 2 years actually, probably closer to a year to find a rhythm guitarist, because we went through about 3 or 4 different rhythm guitarists.
Yeah. Very
it was
annoying.
Just that one member of the band that we couldn't find, that we couldn't, get in there.
It's great when it gels, isn't it?
And then when we finally found Arthur, and it was like you could tell he hadn't. Like, he was like, oh, I used to play when I was a teenager heaps, and I haven't played for a few years. So you could tell he was getting back into it.
Yeah.
But we didn't care because of his personality, the way he fit with us.
Yeah.
You know, and the way that we all gelled with each other as people.
Yeah.
It was just the best connection we've had with anyone
That's
before
great.
that.
That's great.
So we're like,
It's
that's
a family,
the
isn't it?
person.
Yeah.
That's clearly the person that we need.
Yeah.
And he's never been, and we've never gotten rid of him, or he's never left.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's been there ever since.
Well, with those, when you suss them out on YouTube, there's some good quality videos in there. You've done some good quality videos to your singles, and you got Permanent Ink,
Yeah.
which was
Done
is
in a tattoo studio.
yeah. We kind of like did one similar, but it's great stuff. Really good raw energy, great visual on the videos. You did have one in that factory with the
Yeah. So that's actually Ryan's dad's steel factory.
Oh, really?
And that was where we originally first started practicing. We
Yeah.
didn't have enough money to go to the studio.
It's huge.
So we would just go into his steel factory like after hours and just practice it.
Oh, that's great.
So that's why we figured we'd do a video in there, because it's like sort of where we started.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, you know. We used to practice in a band in 1980, 79, 80 in pigeon sheds at Granville, you know, like just covered in pigeon shit. But anyway, look, let's get on to the latest single, which is I'm telling you, I was just watching it again this morning. I actually got drunk watching it, and that's Bottle of Sin. Mate, congratulations on it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's just you've gone that, you know, you watch a band and you just take that little step further, and it's just brilliant.
It. Well, that's one thing I really like about us. Like or at least in my opinion, I feel like we're always going forward.
Yeah.
We're always like trying to one up what we've done before.
Yeah. Oh, good
We're always
attitude.
trying to make it bigger. We're always trying to make it better.
Brilliant stuff.
And Bottle of Sin was just so easy. Like we wrote it during the pandemic. We're all locked up.
Yeah.
And like it was one of the first times that we had to write music when we weren't actually in the same room together.
Yeah.
So so we were like sending each other recordings and like riffs and all that, and it literally came together in like a week or two. I think it was actually one of Ryan's riffs.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, because Ryan writes a lot of
Well,
our
that's
riffs.
good. That drummer, yeah.
He honestly he writes like probably 60% of our riffs.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really good songwriter. He's just got a really good ear for riffs, and he knows he knows how to put them together really well.
Rush influence there.
And Veronica also was in that song as well. I think she also helped with that. And honestly, it just came together so quickly. And then when we went to record it also, that process just happened to be one of the easiest and best processes that we've done.
And speaking of the easiness and where you recorded, that was at A Sharp Studios. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Indeed, and which is that over in
Riverwood?
I can't remember exactly which suburb, but yeah.
Great people. Done two
Studios.
albums there, and I think your engineer was Matty.
Yeah. We also so we had Steve James as well.
Oh, Steve James is on that. Yeah, great man. I'm actually interviewing him soon, so hopefully, Steve.
So he was the engineer. Unfortunately, so we originally, because he lives up in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And we wanted him to come down to be in the room with us and recorded all that, and that was the original plan. And then the pandemic, something happened and he couldn't quite fly down at the time. So what we did is he had Maddie, his assistant, there, and he had like a big Skype set up, and he was just sitting there on Skype the whole time, in the same room with us, pretty much still, and just telling Maddie, because Maddie knew exactly like how he has his things, how he does it.
Great place.
And honestly, it was so good. Like the working with Steve was probably the best thing that we've ever done going into a record or into a recording session, because not only was he the engineer, but he also took us into a bit of like pre-production stuff,
producing it,
where produced it, where he even like listened to some of our rehearsals, and would be like, all right, I like this, I like this, I like this. Maybe you could do this, maybe you could do this to make it a bit better. And then we would have a discussion and be like, all right, let's try and add this in there.
Well,
and
Steve,
honestly, the way that it worked, we had like 2 songs that we recorded with him, and they were both like, we were happy with the songs, really happy. But we could sort of tell there was maybe just one or two things missing from them.
Yeah.
And none of us could really tell what it was.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of had those missing
he would guide
things.
Yeah, well, he's Steve's an ARIA Award winner for did a lot of work with Screaming Jets, obviously, and in the past he's worked with Thin Lizzy, Sex Pistols, and everything.
Yeah.
Great man. Had many a dinner with him.
He even had like a gold record on his wall for the freaking Teletubbies.
Well, I was going to mention that one, but yeah, no, he did. Past, like your tours, you done tours and all that before. I think you've been out.
We've been up the east coast of Australia a few times now. We've been trying to get around to the west coast, but it's just money and that. We're actually planning on doing that for our next tour.
Yeah.
So our next tour is pretty much going to be the whole way of Australia, which is going to be the
Look
first
out,
time. So that's going to be good. But yeah, we play up in Brisbane, Gold Coast. We've played Canberra. We've played Wollongong, Sydney all the time. Obviously New South Wales, Victoria. We love going down Victoria. Victoria's one of the best places to play. Obviously.
Yeah, take note. This is
Australia.
Yeah, pinnacle of a rock and roll band. Young, keen. As I said before, I keep saying it, raw and getting out and gigging, and that's what I love. I've seen these guys out at Penrith a little while back. But just they come out every time, and it's like, and I'll get you to comment on this. It's when you do a gig, like every gig's Wembley. It doesn't matter whether it's a backyard party or it's at a pub with 20 people.
Yeah.
I see that in you. You guys just really put an effort in every song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole point, Otherwise, it's not more fun.
I don't think rock and roll was ever meant not to be fun, eh?
That's it.
And by the looks of your film clips, I was actually thinking that on the way here, thinking about questions and things like that. I thought, haven't seen these blokes and watching their video clips. It looks fun. It's kind of a band I'd like to be hanging around just quietly. So future gigs, where are we going? You got one on this weekend?
Yeah, so at the moment we are slotted in to play Thrashville this weekend on Saturday night, which is going to be pretty big.
Hunter Valley?
Our first music festival,
yeah.
official music festival. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's literally we've been stressing all week, getting our rehearsals together and getting all of our set together and making sure that's going to be all ready. But man, we're just really excited. We're super keen.
That's good. I was talking to last week I was up in Queensland talking to a promoter of festivals up there. So I'm obviously going to take note, buddy. We're just going to we'll give you. So we can get you something up there, somewhere along the lines,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because festivals are great.
Oh, man.
We've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. So, this Saturday is going to be awesome. And then 2 weeks after that, or is it 2 weeks? It might be 3 weeks. We're heading off to New Caledonia.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so we've got a Rocktober festival to play over there. And we've got the City of Nemea festival and a couple of bar shows as well.
That's brilliant.
So, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and you're moving.
Yeah.
You're moving, you're gigging, going overseas.
And I'll tell
it's
you what,
brilliant stuff, I'm loving it.
I hate buying a flight case. That's been the worst bloody stress of my bloody life.
Yeah.
So the Epiphone Thunderbird,
it's
like probably one of the longest bases that you can buy.
Yeah, I've noticed that, yeah.
Like I've got to go and meet a guy today and get a custom, keyboard flight case because it's just so big that it won't fit in any other fucking guitar case.
That would be a nightmare, eh? No one thinks of this type of stuff, especially when you're moving, and especially these are your life, your your equipment. You don't want to see blokes
100%.
throwing them
And
around.
yeah, the people on the planes, they'll put shit on top of them. They'll throw them and so
There's plenty of fragile stickers.
you want to make sure that it's okay. And I've even heard that the pressure and stuff like that can also affect the guitars and stuff like that. So
There's a few different guys. You'd be rocking your bloody guts as it. So we can download the albums and the singles on all those areas, Spotify.
Yeah, we've got Spotify, we've got YouTube, Facebook. We have a website, so you can check that out at www.avalanchebandrock.com.
Yep.
So that's got all of our merch, music.
Speaking of merch, get on there, buy up, give this band some money so they can get out and do all these tours and just keep rocking on.
That's the way we can do it.
Look, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just Avalanche. I usually put in Avalanche Australian Band, comes up, shows you all your stuff. Look, mate, I really appreciate you, especially letting me in your home.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have loved to have met all the rest of the band and all that, but hopefully we've got some stuff on there I can edit in later on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look, I was reading the other day, Rolling Stone magazine said about Avalanche, which was, it's Avalanche is one band you need to watch. Well, I'm going to expand on that and say Avalanche is one band you need to experience because it's the whole package. I've been saying this all the way through the interview. The whole rock and roll package. And so what you need to do is have a look on their websites, buy up their merch, throw the t-shirt on, get to the next gig, go up and see these festivals, go to New Caledonia if you have to, but go and see this band. I'm Spider from Baditude Rock and Roll. This is Stephen from Avalanche. And we'll see you later, guys. Rock and roll!